Morning, everybody. Sunday, March 10th. This is the first day of the time change, daylight savings. So, make sure that you set your clocks ahead because we fall behind, but we spring ahead. Okay. Been a couple weeks since our last video. Last time we were working on our 1977 C10 hot rod project. We're going to change that up a little bit today. We've got another little thing that we're going to do some stuff to. Nothing major. But first of all, let's get some stuff out of the way. Challenges that have been out there, if you will. We had the Garage Gang Karaoke Challenge competition. All I'm going to say about that is I'm sure you've heard the expression, if you can't swim, stay out of the pool. Well, that kind of goes along with singing, okay? So we ain't going to be doing that. So, no songs from here. Next thing that was up is favorite movie car. Lots of good stuff came up in that. Brought back a lot of memories. Has actually made me go back through Netflix and actually rewatch some movies and stuff, and it's pretty cool. I like that. But my vote, I didn't notice anybody else voting for this car, so I'm going to throw my vote in. My vote for favorite movie car, if you will, is that one. To me, Eleanor is my vote for favorite movie car. Hopefully, I know there's some glare on the poster. I'm sorry, but that Mustang is just a beautiful automobile. It's a shame they tore it up in the movie, but the recreations have been pretty cool too. So that would be my vote for that as far as favorite movie cars, if you will. Alright, so that gets rid of that stuff. What else we got going on? Okay, with the advent of cost analysis and, tax rates and so forth, we have decided, as you all well know, that we've abandoned our little circle track race car project. I have actually sold the car. Car is gone. But with that, there's a void that's left. Gotta have something to do. So, Camera Girl and I, for a number of years, competed in Sports Car Club of America, the SCCA Autocross solo program. And a lot of fun. It's nowhere near as costly as running an actual full-blown race car. So we didn't go out at all last year. We only went out once or twice a year before that. Doing other stuff. But this year, we're going to go back full-blown. We'll be taking you guys along. It's pretty cool. It's a local thing. But the biggest problem that we have is, what are we going to drive? It's basically any street vehicles. There's classes for everything. We do have the 2006 Mustang. But I've kind of given that to Camera Girl, if you will. She's driving that, thinks quite a lot of it, and that car is in perfect shape. And the problem with the venue that the autocross is held on, it's a very, very abrasive surface, and through the day, as cars run on it and so forth, the surface, little pebbles and stuff come up. So as you're going down the course, you can actually almost hear the little stones hitting the sides of the car as you're going around. And to do that, the Mustang, that would drive me insane with the Mustang. So we're not going to do that. But never fear, we have another one that we can use. This is a car that I purchased in Sacramento, California, and promptly sold it to a family member. She's been driving it for the last year and a half or so, and now we've bought it back. So this is the car that we will be using for our autocross program. It's not exactly the 2006 Mustang, but it's a very, very, very similar car. It's got the same engine, same everything. It's just a little bit different. It's got a 2.5 liter V6 engine, 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 2.5 liter V fastest car in the world, but you know, the thing that's nice about the solo program is that you're not really racing against other cars, you're racing against the clock and more or less racing against yourself, which is good, because this guy here is just, you know, it's okay, but it's, you know, I think 95 horsepower, you know, 120 foot-pounds of torque or something like that. So it's not a real rocket ship, but I mean, it gets a 40 miles to the gallon, if that matters, but it doesn't. So, but anyways, so let's take a look at what we got. We're going to do a few things to that today, next few days. All right, so what we have is we have a 1991 Plymouth Laser. It's a 1.8 liter single cam 5-speed. It is a very basic, it's a base model, has roll-up windows. It does have air conditioning, cruise control, and a couple other things, but pretty much not a lot for options. So it's a very, it's a light vehicle, if you will. It's not really heavy, which is good because, like I say, at 95 horsepower, you know. But I just washed it last night. She's taking pretty good care of it, and it's a nice little car for a 91. I think now it's showing 122,586 miles on it. So she put roughly 20,000 miles on the car. And like I say, it's nothing new to us, so I do know the car. It's not like a new purchase where we need to go, you know, get carried away going all the way through it. But what we do need to do is, I haven't had it in here in a little bit. I mean, I did actually not too long ago. I did some work on it, but it had really nothing to do with safety stuff. The important things that we need to do, we need to go through and check the brakes, check the steering, you know, look at the suspension. This is a completely stock automobile. And as you know, the Plymouth Laser, this vehicle is basically the exact same car as an Eagle Talon and the Mitsubishi Eclipse. They're all the same vehicle. This is just a Plymouth version. I think the only thing that really changed on them is, you know, there was some option differences and a little bit of trim was different, but for all intents and purposes, like I say, they're the same thing. This little 1.8 runs pretty well. It does have a little bit of a idle issue, if you will. It kind of stumbles a little bit sometimes. I'm kind of suspecting idle air control valve is kind of dirty in it. And it hasn't had anything for maintenance other than oil changes in quite a while. I did have it in here, oh gosh, a month or two ago, and I replaced the timing belt, the balancer belt, of course all the external accessory belts, water pump, and the alternator. So all that stuff on this thing is fairly fresh. Put front brakes on it, oh gosh, probably a year ago. So I'll take a look at those. Not really sure what class we're going to run this vehicle in. Our options pretty much at this point is we could run it in stock configuration, which essentially is, you can't really change much of anything. Pretty much has to be the way that it is sitting here in this state. And that would be an H stock class by the SCCA. Or they have now what they call a street touring class, which allows you to make some modifications. You can lower it a little bit. You can do some suspension stuff. You can do exhaust work, air intake work. You know, you can do minor stuff that, you know, a lot of these street cars today have for modifications, and they will allow that. So I'm not really sure which way we're going to go. The local region here, the Reno region, has combined a lot of classes in the run groups. So if we go into the stock class, we're what we call stock 3 here, and that would combine, I think, D stock, E stock, F stock, G, and H stock all into one run group. And if you get looking at some of the stuff that's been entered as of the last year or two, in a lot of ways, this little car here is kind of like bringing a knife to a gunfight, if you will. There's a lot of other pretty quick vehicles in there, and so, you know, we've never been we ran a Corvette for a while. I've run Mustangs. We had a Toyota Celica, actually a full-blown race car that we ran. And we've always had a good time and done okay, but we've never really been the fast people anyways. It's more just to get out and play with the car and, you know, go around and see if we can do better amongst ourselves type thing. So I don't know which way we're going to go with it. Probably we'll go street touring, because that I do like to mess around with them from time to time, and that will allow us to do that and stay in the same class. Safety stuff that has to be in the car. You have to have functioning seat belts, safety belts. Like I say, everything else basically is mechanical. Tires, the back tires on this car are not much good anyways. The tires that are on the front are okay, but they are 185/70 14-inch. I think I'm going to upgrade either to a 16 or a 17-inch tire for this, and we will go with a 180 wear rating, and that should give us a AA traction rating and an A temperature rating with the low tread wear rating. The rules state that if you're going to run in the street tire class, which actually there's a street tire handicap which you can use if you do that versus race tires. The street tire class in this region has to be a minimum 140 on the tire rating, but the national rules for road tires are now this year they're implementing, I believe, 180 for their rules. So I wouldn't be a bit surprised as within the next year or so we'll be changing here to 180 as well. So if we're going to lay out the money for tires and actually a set of wheels, I do have a set of wheels I'm going to try on it. I don't know how they're going to look. We'll see. I'll show you those. But for, you know, laying out the money for a set of tires, we might as well all go 180 and we should be set, and not have to, you know, buy another set in a year if they decide that they want to do something different. Like I say, we're not the really fast kids anyways, and the difference between the softness of a 140 tire versus the little bit harder 180 tire, we're never going to notice. So that's what we're going to do there. But basically to this thing, we're going to change oil. It does need an oil change. The valve cover gasket is leaking on this car, so we'll change that out. Got an air filter, a fuel filter for it. We'll take a look at the ignition, but as I remember right, I put this ignition stuff on there not too long ago, but maybe we will upgrade to like a larger wire or something like that. I don't know. We'll see. For you guys out there in the garage, batteries. Here's an interesting little thing I got looking around here. This battery that's in it, this guy right here, this Exide battery. It's an Exide 60 Premium, you know, which would be a 5-year battery. If you look down here on the side, this battery was manufactured in September of 2003. So that battery is over 12 years old, and that, to me, that just blew me away. That's amazing. And it's fine. There's nothing wrong with it. I am going to be taking it out, and I have a gel Optima battery that I'll put in. I actually like those better in these cars. That takes the acid out of the equation should anything happen, you know, for whatever reason the car goes upside down, or, you know, anything like that happens. At least the gel battery is sealed and you don't have any liquid spill. So I'll change that out. But I thought that was just amazing that battery is still just going right along, and it's perfectly fine for the age that it is. So I guess that says something about Exide batteries, at least that particular one. So that's kind of cool. So, all right. So we're going to get it up in the air, and we'll get oil draining. We are going to have to go down to the sign shop once we decide what we want for. I got to get 2 more numbers. The last car that we used was actually, like I said, it was a dedicated race car, and it had 2 numbers permanently affixed to it. And this one here was the magnetic mount number that we changed when she ran the car. So we'll get some mag mounts for that. I gotta clean them, they're not sticking very well. But anyways, basically what you do is you put your car number and your class designation have to go on the car. So we'll get some more of those. Yeah, these aren't sticking very well at all anymore. They stick pretty good there. There must be something different with the quarter panels. Alright, so we'll have to go down to the sign shop and have some of that stuff made up. And like I say, it's pretty clean, and we'll just, spiff it up just a little bit, but not too bad. And we'll change the valve cover gasket. We will be taking this thing Saturday, March 30th to a pre-season tech, and we'll get a annual tech inspection for it. We only have to have it teched 1 time if we do that, and we're good to go for the season. They'll just put a sticker on it, they'll tech this, and they'll tech the helmets, and we'll be good. So we'll get it all ready for that. So we've got a little bit of stuff to do here, but not an awful lot, and I just want to get this ready to go so we don't have to mess with it, and then we'll get back on our truck project. So alright, so we'll get this thing up in the air, and we'll start changing out some parts and see what we end up with. Alright, so we got our oil draining, changed our filter, get it up in the air. One thing that, I don't know if other people have the same problem that I do, but I've gotten to the point where I hate bending over with stuff. So, of course, if I get the right size tools, it's even better. So I always kind of, my method, if you will, of working on a lot of stuff is I'll jack it up in the air, and I've got some 6-ton jack stands, and I'll put it on there. It's kind of my redneck lift, I guess. Gets it up, you don't have to bend over. And the one thing that you'll find, especially you younger guys out there, is the older you get, you don't like to bend over and do stuff like that. The body just, the body just doesn't like it. You get stiff and stuff. So just a tip, if you got some jack stands, lift the stuff up. You know what I mean? Lift it up, make it easier on yourself. That's what us old guys do. So I've rigged up my little MacBook over there, and it actually works out pretty good. I can watch, put some speakers up on top, and I actually just paused. I was watching the Velvet Hammer working on his fenders, but it's kind of cool to just be out here. I'd rather watch videos than listen to TV or radio in the background, so that's kind of cool. I just got done watching Easy Jeezy putting his engine together. That was pretty cool. I don't know how interesting this little project is today. It's nothing earth-shattering or rocket science for sure here. Just little stuff to well, you know what? not bad. Fairly clean. Kind of a good thing. We like clean. That's for sure. We have no problem with stuff's not being dirty. So nothing earth-shattering here, I guess. It'll actually be kind of fun to get out and do this again. Like I say, we did it for a number of years in several different cars. Always had a good time. Used to travel around a little bit with it even. For some reason, just kind of got busy doing this or that and didn't get out. So, camera girl co-drives. She's actually pretty good at it. She gets right up on the wheel and puts the accelerator down. So it's always kind of fun with her. Okay, so I'll show you what we got here. It's kind of an interesting little setup. It's a single cam, but dual rocker shafts on there. See, driven up here. There's an actual helical gear drive here. It goes in, and 2 rockers. That's kind of cool. That's pretty clean. No big deal there. I did get the gasket set that has this little plug here in the back, this half moon. Always a good idea to change those. You can get the gasket sets that don't have them, but like I say, you know, for the little bit of extra effort, change that. And you'll see this one here had some sealer around it. Always put sealer around these plugs when you push them down in. And that just makes sure that you get a real nice seal around the bottom of them. And the other thing is, up here in these corners, here and on the back side over here, always put a little dab of your favorite sealer in there too. And just make sure that it seals up in that corner. The rest of it usually seals pretty good, because there's only 2 bolts on these that hold them down. So you want to make sure that everything's squished up tight. Okay, so I'm going to put the new gasket and bolt seals and half moon in, clean up the valve cover, put it back on, and we'll be back. Okay, one thing, let's spend a minute talking about this little guy right here. Is the positive crankcase ventilation valve, PCV valve, and it threads right into the valve cover. You can't see, of course, but right in the end there. And all it is a little ball valve inside of this, and it goes back and forth with engine vacuum and so forth. And if you notice, it's not moving. It's stuck. So that valve there is not functioning. Now, this valve, although kind of insignificant, if you will, can mess with your idle. And I didn't, you know, I told you this thing had a little bit of an idle stumble to it. This could be part of it right here. All you do with these, take them off. You can replace them, they're only a few bucks, or just take your carburetor cleaner and spray them out. There you get it. Right inside. Spray it out. Now I don't know if you can pick this up, but hear the rattle? See? Now the whole thing's moving in there. And all it takes is just wash the sludge out. So hopefully the camera's picking up the noise of the ball rattling back and forth. Just a little thing, it's commonly overlooked, and it can affect your performance, you know, the way the car runs. So positive crankcase ventilation valve, PCV. Whenever you're tuning anything up or doing any kind of a running thing, take a look at it. And like I say, they're a few bucks, change it, or usually you can just wash them out and they're fine. Something else to think about. All right, so there you go. We're all back together. We've got our new valve cover gasket is in. Changed the oil and filter. We replaced the air filter. Replaced the fuel filter, which is down in there. If you can see it or not. We've got our Optima battery in. All good. We got enough wires here. We can make up a set of 8mm wires for it. Looks good. Running pretty good. I have not cleaned the throttle body yet, but our idle thing seems a lot better. It may just have been that PCV valve. He's responding pretty good. Idle recovers perfect, so I think we're pretty good. All right, so that's what we've been up to today, and hope all you other guys been a good day. We've watched some videos while we're working here. It's been cool. Weather's nice. So tonight is the Mumble. Come on in, get involved in that. Been really a lot of people in there lately. It's been really good. Once again, if you're not sure how to get on, all you need is your regular computer, preferably like a headset with a microphone, and go to WTBM123's channel, and there's a very good tutorial on how to get set up and get on. So that's about it for now. We'll come back this week. We're going to we'll make up our wire set. We'll pull the wheels, check the brakes, do that kind of stuff, and order up some numbers, order up some wheels and tires, and hopefully by the end of next weekend we'll be set to go, and then we'll get back on our truck. So until next time, or tonight on the Mumble, catch you there, stop by, say hi, take it easy.